Hello and welcome to Timeless Tales of the Monterey Public Library. My name is Ellie and today I'm going to tell you the story of Goldilocks and the Three Bears. It's a story from Europe. Once upon a time, in the woods there was a little house, and in that little house lived three bears. There was a great big bear, there was a medium-sized bear, and there was a wee small little bear. And they lived in a house with 3 rooms. One room was the kitchen where they would all sit together and eat from the great big bowl, a medium-sized bowl, and a wee small bowl, one for each bear. There was a room with 3 chairs, their living room, where they would sit and tell stories and read books and play games. And there was a great big chair, there was a medium-sized chair, and then there was a small chair. And in the third room, their bedroom, there were 3 beds, and you guessed it, there was a great big bed, a medium-sized bed, and a wee small bed, one for each bear. So one morning, the bears decided to have porridge for breakfast, and while they waited for their porridge to cool, they went for a walk in the woods. While they were out walking, who should come by their house but a little girl named Goldilocks. She was called Goldilocks because of her long, beautiful blonde hair, of which she was very proud. But the other thing about Goldilocks was that she was very, very curious. So curious that sometimes she let that curiosity get the better of her, as we shall see. Now Goldilocks had never noticed this little house in the woods before, even though she lived in the woods herself. So she walked right up and she knocked on the door. Knock, knock, knock. There was no answer, of course, because the bears were out on their walk. Now, if you or I were to walk up to a house and knock on the door and find no one home, we would decide to come back another day, perhaps. But Goldilocks, being very curious, when she knocked on the door, knock, 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 and found no one at home, she reached for the doorknob and saw that the door was unlocked. She walked right into the house and set about exploring. First, she walked into the kitchen where she found a great big bowl of porridge, a medium-sized bowl of porridge, and a wee small bowl of porridge sitting right out there ready for someone to sit down and eat. She thought, perhaps they're for me. So she took up a spoon and she took a great big spoonful from the great big bowl of porridge. But that porridge was too hot! So she tossed down that spoon, she walked to the next bowl, the medium-sized bowl, and she took up a medium-sized spoonful from there, and she went, but that porridge was too cold. So she walked over to the next bowl of porridge, the wee small bowl, and she took a wee small spoonful out of the wee small bowl, and she went, that porridge was just right. It was sweet and warm, but not too hot. So she ate it all up. Having had a snack to fortify her, she walked into the next room where she saw 3 chairs. She walked up to the great big chair and she popped right onto it. But that chair was too hard, so she popped right back off. So she walked to the medium-sized chair and she sat down in that one and she kept sitting down. That chair was too soft. So she struggled a little bit, but she managed to get out of that very soft chair. And she looked at the third chair, a wee small chair. She sat down in it, and that chair was just right, not too hard, not too soft. And she leaned back in that chair, but crash! She broke that chair to pieces underneath her. She was too big for it. Leaving the broken chair behind, she walked into the third room, and she saw 3 beds. A great big bed, a medium-sized bed, and a wee small bed. Now, all that walking through the woods and exploring other people's houses uninvited had made her tired. So Goldilocks climbed right in to the great big bed. But that great big bed was too hard, so she climbed right back out again. And next she climbed into the medium-sized bed, but that medium-sized bed was too soft. Too many cushy pillows. So she climbed right back out of that one too. She made her way to the third bed, the wee small bed. She climbed under those covers, pulled them up to her chin, and oh, yes, this bed was just right. It felt so just right that she fell asleep right in between 2 blinks. While she was sleeping, the bears finished their walk and came back to their home, and they saw that the door to their house was standing wide open. And so they walked in and looked around and found in the kitchen they saw, "Someone has been eating my porridge," said the great big bear. "Someone has been eating my porridge," said the medium-sized bear. "Someone has been eating my porridge," said the littlest bear, "and they've eaten it all up." Curious, they walked into the next room and saw there 3 chairs. "Someone has been sitting in my chair," said the big bear. "Someone has been sitting in my chair," said the medium-sized bear. "Someone has been sitting in my chair, and they've broken it to bits," said the littlest bear. Curiouser and curiouser, they walked into the 3rd room. "And someone has been sleeping in my bed," said the great big bear. "Someone has been sleeping in my bed," said the medium-sized bear. "Someone has been sleeping in my bed," said the littlest bear, "and there she is." With that, Goldilocks' eyes flew open. She saw 3 alarmed bears looking down at her, and she shrieked. She leapt out of bed and she ran right past them, right out of the bedroom, past the 3 chairs, past the 3 bowls of porridge, right out that open front door, and all the way back to her house on the other side of the forest. And believe you me when I tell you that that little girl has never come wandering back to the bear's house again. The bears, for their part, are just as glad. They were quite astonished to find a little girl sleeping in their bedroom, and were just as glad that they never had to see her again. So that's the story of Goldilocks and the 3 bears. If you'd like to see more stories, you can visit monterey.org/library to see more stories like this and other fun things for kids to do, some fun things for teenagers, and for grown-ups to do as well. Take care. We'll see you next time.